Okay, I've never played Devil Daggers before. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what genre it is. I booted it for a minute to make sure video played, but I haven't done any audio testing, so um, might be too loud or too quiet. I'll try to adjust it after we start here. It seems loud. Turn that down. I don't know if this is recommended for a controller or mouse and keyboard. It might not even be registering the controller. All right, I guess that answers that. And flash hand. This all looks fine. Dedicated keyboard setup over here. 1 second. Okay. Just like a old school FPS kind of a thing. I see. That's why you can't use a controller. That's cool. Old school Doom, but like ultra high fidelity and frame rate. This thing just supposed to kill these. They all have weak points. Interesting. I don't know if that was the first time I got hit or not. Retry. Hey, Sir, how you doing? There's some, like, pickups I can get, it looks like. But yeah, I think getting hit at all kills me. Okay. Hey Leon, how you doing? I think something's happening when I pick up those gems, but I can't tell what it is. Oh yeah. Feel free to look away. Nice score. You just points. New enemies now. Okay. Looked like something was about to happen. See if there's any other buttons. I think it's just jump and shoot right now. Move, obviously. Yeah, I can hear that. Not a great start that time. Okay, I can fall off the edge. It's hard to tell that there is an edge from the beginning. It's been fun, like, watching in real time as people nostalgic for these kinds of graphics, like, become indie developers. You're getting, like, nostalgic Atari and then NES and then SNES games, right? We aren't seeing these kind of like early 3D titles until the last 5-ish years. Yeah, me neither. It's interesting. I think I just have to shoot everything. And avoid getting hit for as long as possible. It's kind of old school arcade. Ouch, really. Careful to not get enemies behind me. It's been getting me killed when I start trying to like back up from things chasing me. Alright. Further that time. Furthest I've gotten is to that spider enemy. I haven't been able to do too much with it. Trying to focus down the pillars. Maybe I should start trying to kill the ads so that I'm not getting overwhelmed by them as much. I thought maybe the pillars could spawn them indefinitely, but I didn't take them out fast enough. Sometimes they fly over my head. Okay. Good to know. So their weak point's not facing me. I can try to take that opportunity to kill them. Ads, that is. There's this spider thing. I've yet to kill. Oh, it's like a spider skull. That's cool. There's an aspect of the controls and an aspect of the mechanics that I'm missing. How is it conveyed? On the controls screen or something? It kind of seems like run around and shoot everything and try not to die. Finger getting tired. I'm talking about not fire. I'm not like spam clicking. If you just press and hold, like the kind of like every shoot 'em up game that doesn't have ammo ever. A space shooter is like just hold down the fire button because there's no reason not to. Try not. How is that conveyed by the game? not detecting any difference in behavior when I'm not shooting. Gems aren't able to be picked up, it just looked like there was a flash when I was walking over them. Yeah, I don't... I currently do not detect any difference between firing constantly and not firing constantly. So there's a comparable number of enemies, they still die similarly fast. Is that like a... you could do a pacifist run where you don't kill anything? Bullet hell game or something? Those are the enemies just spawn whether I'm killing them or not. Now I'll just die eventually if I don't. Shotgun like burst attack. That? Oh, also I have to not press and hold left click for it. I only triggered it when you mentioned it there. So every other time I've clicked and held for at least, you know, a couple frames. Okay. Was this like released on couldn't see it was released as a mobile game. I don't think it would work without the WASD controls. It's very strange. I guess maybe they're trying to do like an old school thing by not having some kind of tutorial or indicator of what the buttons do or what the core way of interacting with the game is meant to be. Yeah, like to get that shotgun effect, you have to know that if you click and then let off the left, because if you hold it even for like a couple frames, it does that, right? Which after you load in and you immediately see, oh, if I press and hold, I have infinite ammo. Why would you think to click really fast like that? That's very strange. I guess I was getting a visual effect when I was picking up the crystals before. Was that just because they happened to be despawning when I was walking on them or something? Yeah, like I was holding it there and I heard a little sound effect and it flashed while I was holding my shoot. It did it again right there. You're saying that wasn't doing anything because I was shooting before? Right click doesn't do anything. I tried that a few times. What is it? Does shooting them with the shotgun pick them up or something? Thought I was still walking over them. Go to the leaderboards. Deaths. Just to, like, watch the next player do a replay. This person seems to be doing what I was doing. So I guess that... At least for me, that vindicates my not realizing that I could shotgun. Doesn't seem like cheating. If the point is to, like, figure out the game. This is me watching somebody else. So there's like a rocket jump, it looks like. I get the sense that they're trying to maximize points by killing as many ads as possible instead of destroying the towers. Just surviving as long as possible? Okay, some more like bullet hell with me. What causes gems to spawn? Is it killing like a group of ads? The big skulls are dropping. Okay. The idea is kind of cool. Everyone just kind of trying to survive on the same map for as long as humanly possible. Is there a specific game that this is trying to call back to? Pretty unique. It does feel very arcadey in that respect, which is cool. so that you're not like starting to back up and circle strafe something and have an enemy behind you. The rocket jump is kind of neat. Why was the #1 player immediately going to the edge? Is it just a way to try to make sure that they're kiting you in a specific pattern and not getting in the middle so that you have room to run to? It was a style thing. But people are trying to like maximize this game's equivalent of APM. Just be ready to react to things, I guess. It's cool that it saves replays. I guess I almost wish the game opened with you watching a replay or something, so you could, like, even if you didn't know what the command was to do a shotgun, if you saw somebody do it, you'd be like, oh, you need to play around with the available control to figure out how to do that. Because I worry that the next guy on the leaderboard that we saw who was doing the same thing I was doing probably represents an extremely typical player. Like, they might be confused enough by it that they're not, like, compelled to go watch a streamer or, like, Google, how is this game supposed to work? They might not get much further than that. Nice being on Twitch to have people tell me, hey, there's something else you can do. But... They could probably still keep the experimentation aspect to it. I'm sure that's part of the fun, people learning that they could rocket jump. I also really like the look of the game. People didn't have a ritual at the beginning. Is the game completely deterministic? Like, do pillars always spawn in the same spot, and do the skulls always follow the player the same way every time? I assume so for the replay system to work. And it's just recording player inputs, like how most replay systems work. Enemies spawn randomly. Interesting. Ah, okay. So you can't just memorize the locations and like start pre-shooting every time. I guess maybe for the purposes of the replay system, there's like probably a seed system, so they can save what the enemy positions would be, so they can play back the player inputs when you go to watch a replay. Press 2? Huh. That shows how long I've been on the run and how many crystals I've picked up. We're playing this one for about an hour today before we switch to the next game, so if there's any other cool stuff to see, like seeing the time and crystal pickups, let me know. Well, I just meant for the purposes of the so most replay systems don't actually save video of you playing the game, because that would be an enormous amount of space taken up. So instead they record your literal inputs and then they play them back in the engine, which works for a deterministic game like, I don't know, Smash Brothers, right, where you're just playing back player inputs. But it must also be recording some feature of the RNG so that when you go to watch a replay, it puts the pillars and the enemies and stuff in the right places, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that the seed can be manipulated or viewed by the player in any way. Am I getting like a higher jump each time that I hop consecutively? Oh, so that's why that person was hopping constantly like that, okay. Because you mostly do that to get more speed going forward, basically. And I went off the edge. What counts as a perfect hop? Is it hopping again the moment you land or something? So is that noise that we're hearing right now, is that the sound of me hopping correctly? Oh, I think I heard it there. That one. That's cool. So, like, one of them gives you a little bit of speed, but the perfect one gives you a lot of speed. There's certain things that look like don't spawn until, okay, no, I am getting this spider without having killed enough of the pillars. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I can see the Quake inspiration. Try to get 10 gems. Alright. Oh, my bad, Brutus. I thought you wanted to get an hour for each game. In that case, let's see, we're 27 minutes in. I'll go another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll watch the top of the leaderboard doing it. And then we'll switch. So getting 10 gems is leaving the pillars alive and focusing on the big skulls, is that right? Oh, okay. I assume gems were just like a point multiplier or something. Maybe they actually do something. No reason not to kill the baby skulls, right? Okay, and the pillars still have contact damage. So looks like the spider does spawn eventually, whether I'm killing the pillars or not. Kill the spawners. Okay, that's more like a pro strat. Okay, definitely not. And then is there a different way to collect the gems than just moving up to them? I can't tell if shooting them is collecting them, or if I just happen to be getting close to them as I'm shooting. Shit. Probably should have considered when it was spawned. They start attracting whenever you stop shooting. Okay. And they despawn. Okay, good to know. So it's kind of an incentive to not just shoot constantly. You can tell if you got one that was near you because you'll hear the sound effect of them picking up, I guess. Shoot. Oh, it's getting a little bit closer. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I couldn't even tell. Looks like I could tell sometimes they were moving toward me and I had no idea why. I didn't realize I was connected to my shots at all. Spiders eating my gems? Oh, is it just like sucking it out of me or something? Well, this game feels like it's like a borderline like community ARG that like you had to get a bunch of people to come together once it got released to figure out what the hell was going on and what it's about. Kind of neat. I'm gonna keep trying to get 10 gems. I don't know if I'm good enough to do it, but I got to like 6 once, so maybe. The shotguns push the gems away, but don't like despawn them or anything. They make them inaccessible. How is it? It's causing gems that are dropping to get sucked into it, basically. But it's not eating the gems that I've already picked up. That's why I stopped getting gems after it spawns. Okay, so I was doing okay on gems there, but then the spider spawned. Does the spider take a lot of shots to kill or something? I haven't come anywhere close to finishing it off so far. I don't think I've ever killed it. Got to the point where I thought maybe it was just a environmental threat or something that I couldn't kill. Even though it had a little gem. You always know when the spider is here because you hear the sound of it, I guess. Harm a spider and then leave it unharmed for 1 second, it'll hide. Yeah, imagine. Has this game been pretty safe? Like the leaderboard is pretty pretty high integrity. There's not really any way to cheat. Cat's walking in front of my monitor. 1 second. Listen for it at 38 and kill at ASP. So you want to like start holding the attack button and don't let off of it once you start hitting the crystal on the spider, basically. And it always spawns at that moment. Give it a try this time, let's see. Top ranks are clean. Oh, really? So the gem on the spider doesn't do anything? That's... okay. This game is very odd. It's like the anti-conveyance game. No idea if I was hurting it there or not. Okay, I think I killed the spider finally once. Still trying to get 10 gems at least once before we wrap here. I got about a few more minutes. Probably watch a replay until someone gets to 10 to see what happens. It looks like it's the spider spawn specifically to keep you from doing that right away. Did the pillars also give, do the pillars also give gems when they die? I haven't been able to tell. Or is it just the big skulls? They do. Seems like audio awareness is pretty important in this game to figure out like where stuff's spawning. That's kind of cool. Spiders should be spawning soon if I'm understanding them well. Not if I die. Kind of surprised that you have to like opt into that score thing at the top showing you your gem count and your time, because I feel like even just displaying that by default would go a long way to conveying to a new player like what this game is and what they should be trying to accomplish, right? But I guess if it's like this, you know, community ARG thing where not understanding the developer intent is part of the pitch of the game, you're just kind of waiting for people to try pressing every button on the keyboard to see what they all do. Are there any other weird, like, obscure buttons that you can press that do stuff? It's really hard for me to focus on killing that thing without getting killed by the skulls that I'm kiting. Rogue. what were the circumstances under which this game was released? Was it made by a developer that's made a bunch of other titles or something? Like it seems like it would be... How do you pitch a game that you can't really tell anybody anything about it because it's contrary to the point of the game, right? I see, that's what caused it to hide. It means I can't damage it until it stops hiding, basically. If you go into config, you can see the binds. I see. Show your PB. Okay. Alright, this will be my last attempt, and then I'll watch... We won't watch a whole replay, but I'll watch one up until they get 10 gems, just to try to figure out what happens here. I could see there being an arcane prompt to turn off the score. Alright, let's see. Leaderboards. Just gonna watch to the point where they get 10 gems to see what it does. So they're basically getting perfect bunny hops every time, it sounds like. Whoa, when I'm not controlling the game, this is actually making me a little nauseous. I never get motion sick from video games, that's crazy. I think it's just because I'm watching somebody else do it after I've been doing it for a while. I'm trying to think where I can anchor my vision here so I don't get sick. I'll watch the hand. So now he's got more than 10 gems. Is it like making his gun better now? Is it more damaging or something? I can see that the hand position has changed. Does it continue to do that at gems above 10, like it keeps getting stronger and stronger over time? Wow, this gets insane really quickly, doesn't it? Does it end ever? Or can you keep getting a higher score by surviving for slightly longer? 10, 70, 220. Okay, I'll wait to get to... I'd like to see what all the gem upgrades do. Looks like this person's going fast enough that that shouldn't take too many minutes here. It starts to loop. Okay. So everyone on the leaderboard will die eventually. They'll get overwhelmed. Cool centipede dragon thing. So this person is intentionally leaving all the pillars alive so they can keep collecting gems. Do you get like a slight time slow effect once that triggers or something? What is happening? I feel like I wouldn't see this without playing this game for dozens of hours. I'm doing my best to keep my eyes focused on the hand so I don't get sick. What does the flash hand do? Like, what's actually happening as a result of this? I see the little, like, strange icon at the top. No longer shows gem count, right? But does that represent gems? Homing daggers are blue and magenta. Daggers are the things you're attacking with, basically. So does that basically just mean that every time you're firing, you're always... This is the final upgrade that you just got, right? Whenever you're firing, you're always hitting things, basically. This is nuts. No, I've never played this. I'm watching the leaderboard to understand what this game becomes later on. Absolutely not. Okay, so we've basically seen all of the... I like the sound that makes. We've seen all the upgrades you can get, and the enemies just get nastier and nastier the further you go. Oh, it starts to loop at 451. Alright, well, I'll let it go. That's another... few minutes. How long did it take for people to get to the first time it starts looping? It must have been months, I would expect. Maybe people are really good at it. I assume this game primarily ends up becoming about not getting hit. But it does look like he's specifically targeting things here. That's nuts. What the fuck? Just don't get hit. Easy. Ozma orb thing, is that just a thing to force you to DPS? Does something really bad happen if you let it live for too long or something? Beckons skulls to him and it transforms them, making them 10 times stronger. Wow. We're getting close to the loop here. It's at 451, right? The orb seems like the closest thing to like a... I was gonna say final boss, maybe that's what that is. The big Dargon thing at the end. I see, so now just pillars are gonna start spawning again. You gotta kill this thing. Yeah. But you get an infinite amount of them, sure. That would be beating the game. Okay. I love the 6-hour how long to beat for this. I have to go look at how long to beat now and figure out what people considered beating it. I played it for 6 hours. Okay. Eat your homing daggers. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Well, cool. That's a very interesting experience. We're going to switch to Brutus's next subblock game here, which is going to be probably the biggest tone whiplash in channel history. It's a game called Townscaper, and then the Incredible Machine. Be back in a little bit. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, Axe, for all your help and feedback here.